New year, new me. And this channel's about to get a revamp, baby. And things are getting mixed up around here. Just a disclaimer moving forward, this channel is going to be more like about my thoughts on movies, pop culture, games and whatnot. Basically whatever I feel like making. Don't worry, for those of you who enjoy my favorite videos, I'll be creating a new channel just for that, so keep your eyes peeled. Anyway, on to today's video. If you're an American who's been hit by the TikTok ban hammer, one of the last few things that was spammed across the platform was something called Reel Shorts, and in particular, a time-old story called Money and a Merry Christmas. It only showed part of the hour and 30-minute movie, but dear me, that enough would be enough to put you off your Christmas pud for a couple of years. It makes those Netflix specials like a Christmas Prince look like a Crown Christmas special. So strap in, fellow trolls of the internet. I've taken one for the team and watched this Christmas classic, so you don't have to. Oh, the things we do for internet clout. So we start this tale by meeting Damien Blaine, the CEO of Atlas Defense Corp. And as kind of a precursor to the rest of this movie, overly zealous army dude doesn't believe who he is and calls him a con man. A general shows up and throws the soldier's hat to the ground, and shortly after he's fronting three generals in front of what is arguably one of the worst representations of the American Eagle that I've seen. He then presents them with a case after listening to them whinge and moan about a 27-minute strike time which conveniently opens with 9 seconds to go. Somewhere blows up, and he's telling them there's actually a 3-minute strike time with his weapons. The general is visibly turned on, and the trio quickly render a scene not unlike that moment that Fry is all
"Shut up and take my money!"
Slick old Damien is then called by the president to come and have a feed, but he's got no time for that. He's off to go catch up with some woman he hasn't even met yet. Cut to what looks like a hotel bar / restaurant, and Cheap Suit Guy is drinking a glass of wine with our other protagonist, Iris Olsen, who surprisingly isn't one of the lost Olsen twins. Old mate Cheap Suit tries to neg her, which obviously doesn't go down well, and he gets a drink in his face for his troubles. Meanwhile, mere meters away and completely oblivious to the explosion of fermented grape juice in Cheap Suit's face, old Damien is with his date, who physically recoils when he claims he's in sales and infers he only makes $60,000. Iris watches on, visibly turned on, before coming over, whinging about her date and proposing a contract marriage, to which old Damien proceeds without objection. Anyways, cross to the next day and we're introduced to Harvey Lambert, his bald right-hand man with glasses who has helpfully got an assistant to load up gifts for Iris's family into an SUV. Harvey offers to deliver them in person because they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars, allegedly. Something that even the assistant smirks at. Harvey is shocked that the Olsens haven't ordered Damien a car, but he hasn't yet broken the news that he's loaded. Enter Mother Olsen, and instantly she's hating on our boy for being broke. And we're very quickly introduced to entitled douchebag Marcus Walton, CEO of the Walton Group, who I'm pretty sure that while trying to bang Iris is trying to get into the pants of her mother as well. Iris and Damien have a quick chat about consent and how she's open to anything, before Marcus, who coincidentally enough is going to a meeting with Lambert, accuses him of lying about knowing Lambert. If those two weren't insufferable enough, enter the next trio of her wanker dad, dickhead brother, who is clearly trying to pull off the quirky Jonah Hill style here, and her stuck-up sister. But that's alright, we're introduced to their innocent niece, apparently the spawn of their brother, who comes up and shoots her money gun and asks Damien for some money. Damien doesn't have any cash, so writes her up a check, and her dad takes it off her and accuses Damien of writing a false check. The family realise the check is for $50,000, but the brother scrunches it up and throws it on the table, which is picked up by the niece. Luckily, this painful scene is interrupted with the inclusion of Grandpa, who of course loves Damien, because we need to have some dude there that supports him. Cut to the bank, where the niece is now at the bank trying to cash the $50,000 check to get cash for her money gun, because you can cash checks and they just give you the money right away. Not. Even the bank teller thinks that it's fake, and as soon as she realises the name, because all bank tellers know the name of a CEO, arms dealer, billionaire, she goes and gets the cash. And while another insufferable argument continues with Damien and Iris's family, in comes the niece to make it rain. The family try to dissuade the niece from being nice to Damien, who simply shrugs and walks off saying, "I don't care, I'm rich." And then, entitled douchebag returns, because of course he does, with a whole swag of gifts, including a Met Gala dress for Iris and a 49-year-old bottle of whiskey for her father, which leads to a dick measuring competition where Damien requests that if his presents are more expensive than Marcus's, he should apologise. Damien gets the brother a yacht, the mother a $40,000 Renaissance painting, and his new wife an expensive $100 million necklace. Mother is visibly turned on by his sudden wealth, but not before Marcus convinces them to believe that all these gifts are fake. The mother is no longer visibly turned on, and instantly resides with Marcus. The father punches through the painting, the brother smashes the yacht key, and the sister pulls off the necklace, and the brother again smashes the necklace on the floor with a hammer. But Grandpa's here to save the day, saying he reckons all the gifts are real and that they're all idiots. But they're all so enamoured by entitled douchebag that he manages to convince them all that Damien stole the presents from Lambert, of all people. Okay, you're probably starting to see a recurring theme here. This happens a lot in this movie. This isn't even the worst back and forth in the movie. So strap yourselves in, guys. There's plenty more show to go. Marcus says he'll just smooth over all the damage to the presents by telling Lambert what happened. Iris's dad is visibly turned on by this. Suddenly, Marcus has organised for some gangbangers to show up, who Damien recognises as the Vipers, a group he'd done business with. Exit stage right, enter stage left Lambert, who is here to congratulate Iris on her wedding to Damien. Of course, the sister, who I reckon is also trying to bang entitled douchebag, man, there's some latent sexual vibes in this movie, lol, reckons it's Marcus, as does the brother. Cut to an untied Damien, you guessed it, entitled douchebag with a knife, who makes yet again another pass on Iris. Back at the Olsen residence, and Lambo is not a happy chappy, and gets on the phone to the head of the Vipers to sort this out. Mr. Brune says that he's got this all sorted, and is on his way to the clubhouse where Marcus is still not convinced about Damien. Damien retaliates, but the day is saved when Brune arrives. Marcus manages to get into his head too, though, and gets Brune to ask for some ID, which Damien gladly obliges. But of course, entitled douchebag convinces the leader of a biker gang that it's a fake ID. Brune prepares to take out Damien before, bang, in comes Lambert to save the day. Meanwhile, Iris is hoping she can save the day herself by stealing a crowbar, only for her to come in and see that her husband is safe and alive. Also, she hasn't been freaking convinced about the fact that he's rich despite all of this by now. Yeah. But no time for that now, because Grandpa, who was Sprighton and Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins, is apparently in the hospital. But guess what he's in hospital with? Brainmelt disease. Brainmelt disease. Freaking brainmelt disease. I can't with this movie anymore. I'm gonna get freaking brainmelt disease from it. Of course, Damien is going to save the day here and bring in his physician, who of course is a Nobel Prize winner in medicine. Oh, hello. Mama Olsen's starting to get turned on again. But no time for that now, as Grandpa's heart monitor starts to speed up. But here's the thing. If your heart was beating at 248 beats per second, you'd be close to dead. You'd also be jittering all over the place. But also, your blood pressure wouldn't be a sound 121/80. Of course, though, it's not an actual heart monitor, it's just a HP Envy flipped over to look like a heart monitor. Lol. Oh, cardiac arrhythmia. Well, actually, atrial flutter, but anyway. That damn brain melt disease. Time to get the old man to surgery stat. Surgery is a success. The doctor is honoured to help Damien, and even the sister is now visibly turned on. But not the dad, who isn't convinced that Grandpa hasn't woken up mere minutes from his brain melt surgery. He then accuses the Nobel Prize winner of forging the chart. Grandpa then miraculously wakes up and the brother is on bended knee down next to him, and in a completely unrelated plot point, tries to get Grandpa to give Iris's inheritance to him and his sister. Of course, he cops a whooshka to the face for his troubles, and Grandpa lets them all know that he's a wake-up to his family's ways. Then suddenly, everybody believes Damien again, and the multi-billion-dollar deal his company was going to do with the Waltons, he's now going to give to his wife's family. Grandpa cries, Dad exclaims they are saved, everyone's happy. The end, right? Now, you would think that, hey, that's a nice little bow to tie everything up, wouldn't you? Wrong. There is still one more act to go in this Christmas epic. I'm doing everything I can to keep the Brainmelt at bay. Here we go. Marcus storms into Lambert's reception and demands to speak with him, followed by his dad. Lambert's assistant says he's not there, and Marcus's dad tries to firm-hand her by mentioning the billion-dollar deal, which, after they leave, Lambert comes out and confirms has been cancelled. Apparently, though, there's still going to be a gala event, and that was supposed to be for the deal signing, but is now going to be about Damien and Iris getting married. Introducing Mr. Dawson, the supposed right-hand man to Lambert, can do no wrong, and let's remember that Lambert himself is Damien's right-hand man. He calls up Damien, who has just one request. Keep those douchebag Waltons out of my event. Simple enough, right? The day of the gala arrives, and this looks more like a high school ball than a gala event, not to mention the fact that I've been to gala events that were not even $50 a head and not looking as poor as this. For a movie that sproiks opulence, they really didn't go all out with this set. And of course, entitled douchebag is there and thinks that this is all about him. He sides up to a random woman and asks, "Who's the dude that's stealing all my attention?" That was, of course, Dawson. Dawson doesn't know who Walton is, and Marcus introduces himself. Now, in this instance, you find out his name. What would you do? Would you A, kick the guy out on his ass, B, have security kick the guy out on his ass, or C, let the douchebag stay so long he doesn't stick around the more VIPs? Well, you can guess what happens. You had one job. Dawson thinks that it's more pressing to have the one fruit platter visible in the entire area removed, as Damien walks in with Iris and straight past Dawson, who dismisses them. Damien is confronted by entitled douchebag. Here we go again. And hey, apparently this thing is $10,000 a head. What a ripoff. Not bad. And oh, look, lady friend has a friend as well, who kind of looks like Harold from Suits. Here we go. Again, Marcus pulls the Damien as a liar card before cracking onto Iris again. Mate, get a hint. He barely touches her though, before Damien yells, "Enough!" Damien asks if she's hurt, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm fine because of you." Apparently, startling someone is a crime in this town because entitled douchebag gets ahead of steam, and Damien calls up Dawson to confirm he's already arrived. He also mentions that the Waltons are here, and he's pissed. Dawson plays dumb, and probably in one of the worst excuses ever, says they snuck in. Come on, man. Entitled douchebag is still on his tirade, but it is now invoking 50 slander before security at his beck and call come to take away Damien and Iris, but not before an overly dramatic fistfight. Hey, Dawson is here, maybe he'll back Damien and everything will be all good. Damien reminds him of their call from a few minutes earlier and calls his phone. Lo and behold, it's Damien. Dawson begs for Damien's forgiveness, tells Marcus to STFU, and gives him a whooshka. But is that enough to keep a good entitled douchebag down? Of course not. Apparently Damien stole Mr. Blaine's phone. Rando woman pips up and vouches for the douchebag, as does douchebag Harold Tansuit, and just like that, Dawson flips because of course he does, and orders security to get Damien. We get what should be one last diatribe out of Marcus before Commander David Brown, Brown, of the Vipers arrives to save the day. He also whooshkas the entitled douchebag and again confirms Damien's identity. Surely this is enough now. Apparently it is for Dawson, who again flips freaking sides and calls Marcus out for lying. Surely this is it. Surely we can put it to bed. Damien is the CEO. No. Dawson is having a crisis of faith, and Damien threatens to finish this. Please, for the love of God, finish it, Damien. Lambo's on his way to save the day again, but not before old mate's dad arrives, because of course he has been there the whole time. Damien threatens to write off all the contracts they have with Walton's companies, but they rebut it, and Damien just goes through with it. Entitled douchebag goes and breaks the phone by smashing his foot on it and laughing. And then, bloody hell, this is where it gets even more stupid. Walton Sr., not Marcus, Walton Sr. throws money at Damien's face and Brown steps in. But then apparently Marcus's dad set his bike on fire, so he legs it. I kid you not, this actually happened. Conveniently, entitled dad gets a call and it's not good. They've lost all their contracts with Atlas and now they're apparently bankrupt, because that's how bankruptcy works apparently in this movie, and proceeds to start fainting. Only to get right up and beg Damien's forgiveness. But of course, entitled douchebag hasn't had the last say when he convinces his dad that Damien apparently stole Mr. Blaine's phone and gave bogus instructions. I'm not even going to commentate this. Dawson is a POS. And very poorly written. Marcus does his best impression of a Max Verstappen face as he seemingly has finally won. Dawson calls security, and Marcus throws wine in Damien's face. Come on, really? But not before Mr. Lambert arrives to save the day again. Entitled douchebag goes to shake the hand and is stood up, and Lambert questions Dawson. Now, let's remember, this guy's supposed to be Lambo's right-hand man, as to how the Waltons got in. Dawson then says, "Oh, the imposter. No one is that stupid." But wait, Lambo is packing? And so is the assistant he brought with him. I wonder if this is finally getting through the entitled douchebag's skull. Rando woman is quite possibly visibly turned on right now. Lambo is not, though, and chastises entitled douchebag. Dawson is quite possibly the biggest numbskull on the planet, and Lambo promises to Damien he'll sort this. Harold Tansuit is a wake-up to this, and both him and Rando woman are visibly turned on right now. Because Marcus hasn't been whooshked enough, his dad gives him a whooshka too, and I think Dawson might have finally worked it out. Dawson is fired, but then rattles off probably the worst excuse ever. Mate, you had one job, keep those dudes out. Oh, and apparently Marcus took out a $75 million loan or something from Damien's hedge fund, which Damien wants repaid right now, apparently to cover business losses or something. $84 million after interest. Apparently Iris can do maths. Finally, for the love of everything that is good, entitled douchebag is thrown out. Damien gets down on one knee and puts a ring on it, and Grandpa is there. Grandpa's there? His Brainmelt is gone? A Christmas miracle! Together, even though moments ago they hated Damien, they all wish a Merry Christmas, and Damien and Iris disappear into sparkles. It's over! It's over! But all the credits running. I'm gonna go succumb to the brain melt.